This week, we learned a heartbreaking truth. The U.S. has failed to find the parents of 545 children who were separated from their families at the border with Mexico between 2017 and 2018. Presidential candidates Donald Trump and Joe Biden saw that plight very differently when asked about it during this week's debate.
Children are brought here by coyotes and lots of bad people, cartels, and they're brought here and they used to use them to get into our country. We now have as strong a border as we've ever had.
It's not coyotes didn't bring them over, their parents were with them. They got separated from their parents. And it makes us a laughing stock and violates every notion of who we are as a nation.
I want to discuss this now with someone who has been on the front lines of this tragedy, Sister Norma Pimentel, the executive director of Catholic Charities of the Rio Grande Valley. Time named her one of this year's 100 most influential people, and she's joining us now from San Juan, Texas, which is one of the epicenters for migrants seeking refuge in this country. Sister, good to see you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So let me first get your reaction to how the candidates addressed this past week involving the separation of children and their parents on the border.
You know, I was here when they were actually separated and we were able to reunite so many of the children with their parents. They actually brought them to us, and to see the child crying and the mother, it's so devastating for a child to be separated from their parents. And I think policy, if it contributes to human suffering, it's wrong. It can never be justified. So I think we must all work towards making sure that children are reunited or never separated from their families, because I think that this is it's unfortunate that we still have children that will never see their parents or their families. And I just hope whoever is leading our country will make a strong effort to make sure this never happens again, and to make sure that these children somehow find their families.
And Sister, you know, the prospect of some of these kids ever being reunited is very dim, because many of these children are so young, you know, they wouldn't be able to articulate, explain, describe who their parents are in the first place.
Totally, yes, I agree. But I think through the efforts that we can all do with those countries and the families that are looking for them, because I'm sure if you're a mother and you don't have your child, I'm sure you're doing everything you can to reach out to find your baby, your daughter, your son. And so we have to put that effort to connect with them so that this can happen.
Mm-hmm. So, Sister, let me let you hear what a Trump aide said here on CNN when asked about the 545 children whose parents cannot be located.
It's a regrettable situation, certainly. The fact is, it's not as simple as you make it sound, or as Joe Biden made it sound on the stage last night, to locate the parents who are in other countries. And when they do locate them, it has been DHS's experience that in many cases, the parents do not want the children returned.
Has that been your experience? Have you heard about that there are parents who have been located and the parents are saying, I really don't want to reclaim my child?
That is incorrect. It is not true. I have only seen parents that are crying for their children, doing anything they can to make sure that their child is safe. And no mother, no father will ever want to say, I don't want my child. It's totally wrong. You know, I think that's just a way to justify an action that was wrong to begin with.
Mm-hmm. And this is separate from what you see. You continue to see on a regular basis when at your Catholic Charities there's assistance given to a number of people who have crossed the border, who are, you know, trying to find a better life. What do you share with people about, you know, your experiences, how to educate folks about what you're observing and who you're observing?
You know, I just want to make sure people that are not here at the border have no idea. Think that maybe the whole immigration crisis, humanitarian crisis is over and there's no problem. There is. If you come to the border, you just go next to the border cities in Mexico and you will see the hundreds and hundreds of families still waiting, still hopeful, still suffering because of our policies that are contributing to that human suffering. it's still happening. We're not seeing them in the United States, but they are here, and we're contributing to that pain and that suffering.
Sister Norma Pimentel, thank you so much. Appreciate your time and your perspective. Appreciate it. And thank you, everyone, for joining me today. I'm Frederica Whitfield. CNN Newsroom continues right now with Ana Cabrera.